To induct Sebastian, please welcome 1991 Full Sail graduate, Senior Vice President of Business Development at Batanga.com, from Chicago, Illinois, Sebastian's classmate and friend, Krys Sawin.
Hello. Thanks so much. Whosever idea this was to have a Hall of Fame at Full Sail, I'm sure it's been a long time coming. And the fact that I get to introduce the first inductee is a daunting task, but also ultimately I think going to be very rewarding. And just in terms of who I was here with, John Phelps, Gary Jones, Bill Smith, my favorite teacher, Keith Lay I just saw, Jay Noble. I can't pay you guys back. I can't pay Full Sail back. I can only pay it forward. I try to every day in my job and with my family and the people that I know. And also today, getting to introduce Sebastian, who's such a terrific guy. And I did want to share one story from when Sebastian and I were in school. One of the things that we were either cursed or blessed with was that the last two classes we had were the business of living, and I don't know what the curriculum is now, but basically that taught you everything from how to balance your checkbook to how to operate Microsoft Word. And then the music business class. So we thought we had recording 2 down, we were done, we were just coasting from there on out. Everything else was just boring classes. But it was a music business class with Alice Schlesinger that really sparked my curiosity. And right after leaving school, I started an internship at a very small record label. And I got the gig not because I knew mic placement, not because I knew how to operate a big, 24-track deck. It was because I knew how to do a mail merge in Microsoft Word. I did the president of the company. I did his Christmas cards, and I'm looking. It's like, Butch Vig, the president of A&M Records, president of Sony Records, and I was like, wait a second. This is, this music business thing is kind of cool. So. If there's anything that I think that is indicative of, is sort of a philosophy of leaving no stone unturned, and like Sebastian said in the video introduction, really getting a sense of when that opportunity comes and being ready for that opportunity. Sebastian and I met the first week. We were best friends in the first week, and we've been best of friends ever since. We had a crew of about 5 or 6 guys that hung out together for the entire year. But he and I don't know what it was. I don't know why I immediately felt attached to him and have kept in touch with him ever since. But I've always felt like he's been a brother of mine. And some of the things that we've been through, even though we haven't lived in the same town, some of the things we've been through simultaneously. We both got married about the same time. We both went through our first experience with childbirth at the first time. In fact, Nicholas, who's here, is only about 20 days younger than my son Joseph. We got our first taste of real success in entertainment about the same time. And probably not coincidentally, we got our first taste of betrayal and having somebody kind of screw you over in business at the same time, and recovering from that and keeping your career going and going through all those changes. So it's been awesome to have somebody that's really been in lockstep with some of the things that I've been going through. And he really got involved in my world. Even though he lived in Miami and I lived in Chapel Hill, North Carolina, he got involved in the indie rock scene in Chapel Hill by befriending our one and only mastering engineer, Brent Lambert. And in 2000, when I sort of left the indie rock scene, and I took a career in Latin music, which was his field, and his introductions, the way he was able to help me get acclimated to this new world was just, it's another thing you can't pay back, you can only pay forward. And I never had to worry about introducing Sebastian to somebody. It was pure quality every time I made a connection with him. It was actually always the reverse. I had to worry about, if I was introducing somebody that I worked with to Sebastian, would they be up to snuff? Would they, have the same kind of qualities? But we have lived apart. Unfortunately, we have not found a way to live in the same town. We've talked about it for years. But I tried to, in preparing for this introduction, I tried to zero in on just a couple things that have kept us together, and it really comes down to, I think, music and family. And I did want to mention one thing about family and one thing about music, but I'll start with family. When I was asked by Sebastian to be part of his wedding, I had to wear a tux, and it was in this really fancy, beautiful, elegant, old castle-looking building in Miami. And about halfway through it, I was just, filled with new names, and my head was spinning. And so I went out to take a little walk and get a breath. I came back, and his dad had hired these Brazilian Mardi Gras dancers, and they're just like, when I came back, it was a throwdown. And the look, since this moment, the one image that's just locked in my mind is seeing Sebastian's dad in this line of dancers, and the look in his eye just beaming. And to me, that's like a crystal essence of what success is. And I know that's how Sebastian feels about his own kids and all his family. The other thing that's kept us together is music, and I've lived vicariously through some of the things he did. He told me one time he was at the Grammys, accepting a Grammy, waiting for his limo in the back, and up walks our mutual hero, Elvis Costello. And he walked up to Elvis Costello and said, I won 2 Grammys tonight, but this is the most amazing moment of the night. And I just thought that was, A+. So just in closing, I've talked too long already, but I really want to zero in on what it is that makes Sebastian special. What is that sort of good life? Well, how has he been able to achieve not only success at home and success professionally, but live a really good life? And, it might be just that simple, that you just have to live the good life. You have to have a series of good decisions, and that's what Sebastian has done. He seems always able to make the best decision in any situation, whether it's listening to a track to know it needs to be, have another take, or whether it's listening to a child and knowing that they're ready to ride a bike. It's being able to, throughout your life, always make the right choice, always make the good decision, and always live the good life. So without further ado, it's my great pleasure and pride to introduce for induction my former classmate in the class of 1991, multi-Grammy award-winning engineer, my friend, my brother, Sebastian Krys, into Full Sail University, and let's bring him up.